My ideal client is maybe a person that's in their 20s and 30s and is in a really confusing flux phase of life. The 20s and 30s, they're full of changes, of questioning who we are, what do we stand for, what do we want to do with our lives. One of the greatest joys about being a therapist at this phase in life is holding space to have these tough conversations, to really explore, what do I stand for? Who am I really at my core? What kinds of relationships do I want to have? And the great thing I think about all of us is we have the capacity to find our own answers. We just maybe need to be asked the right questions. We need to have a safe space, a safe landing board to be able to explore different options. At the end of successful therapy, we've got a person that really feels confident and authentic in who they are and is ready to take action to make their truest selves a reality in the world. One of my biggest values when it comes to therapy is really coming in with a compassionate and non-judgmental approach. All of us, if we're not lying to ourselves, we really fear being judged by others. So therapy, I truly believe, is one of the few spaces where you can come in and be with a person that is going to accept you as you are in this moment. It's not going to judge you. It's not going to critique you. You're not only accepted, but you are celebrated for who you are. That is immensely healing. And it's one of the few spaces in this world I really believe where we can have that experience. My role is to show up, to accept you, to celebrate you for who you are, and figure out together how you want to bring your authentic version of yourself into the world. I became a therapist because I think, like many therapists in the field, I have experienced my own mental health journey. Growing up and even as a young adult, I never had the verbiage or the vocabulary to explain my own experience. And it wasn't until I got into my own therapy for the first time and I worked with a therapist that gave me the language to explain what was going on within me, and I was able to retell my story in a way that felt incredibly empowered and profound. And I truly believe in the power of language and being able to tell your story in a way that moves you forward instead of holding you back. I really believe in guiding clients as they tell their own stories. One of the greatest gifts I think about being a therapist is getting to watch people from all walks of life find the language to tell their story in a way that feels meaningful and authentic and powerful. A really big challenge, especially with folks that are highly motivated, maybe struggling with perfectionism, is really just comparison. There's a lot of, we should be doing this at this point. We should be living our lives this way. All of these shoulds can really start to get into our head, and that shame can come creeping up. That shame can fuel a really intense inner critic. It can fuel a lot of perfectionism. It can fuel a lot of I'm not good enough. Being able to acknowledge that shame is a really brave thing to do, and it's really uncomfortable. But when we're able to acknowledge it, it gets less powerful. Just being able to acknowledge that we're not really feeling good about ourselves. We might be carrying some of those heavy feelings like shame, like self-criticism, like self-doubt. It's a really tough step when coming into therapy, but it's ultimately a very brave and very crucial step towards healing. If you are ready to heal your trauma, calm your anxiety, and strengthen your relationships, feel free to schedule a consultation today.